Hello there, I am Flair, and today we're going to look at the first part of another module to this video series on variant making. This is part 1C, and module C will be all about integration with the Diplo GM Discord bot. What does it do? Well, it's a Discord bot that allows you to adjudicate diplomacy maps via command via Discord. It's very useful and saves a lot of time once it is set up, but it takes a little while. Today I will walk you through the first steps of getting your map ready for this Discord bot, basically. We will do this little tutorial in 2 steps. Today we're going to I'm gonna teach you how to set up your SVG file, which is the file format that Inkscape will output, into a file that is completely ready to be hooked up to the bot that uses Python, a programming language. We will in the next part use VS Code to look into how to do that. Alright. So, in front of us, we do not have the Sengoku variant that we started working on, but rather a variant made by Nexel, Mutually Assured Diplomacy. I recently, yesterday, finished the art for it. I helped them out, and we are looking at bot integration now. And I'm just gonna walk through the first couple steps of how to do that, simply. So, there's a couple of things that we need to do before starting, and that is setting up our layer structure correctly. I will go through from the bottom to the top. So, to begin with, we have the backgrounds layer. It's not really necessary for the bot, but it sets up the C background, also the sidebar background. It's a background. We have the reference layer. This doesn't matter, you can throw it away. Then we have 2 layers called C adjacencies and island adjacencies. For now, we'll ignore them and we'll get back to them later. We have a layer called high Cs, which holds all the fills for our high Cs, if you have any. If you don't have any high Cs on your map, this is the time to not create this layer. Next up, we have the first very important layer, and that is the region fills. The region fills layer holds the coloring of every single tile, except if you have any island tiles on your map, for example Timor. When we had this layer, you can see that we do nothing to Timor. We will get to islands very soon. The next one is impassable, and as you can see, both the Spice Islands, Palawan and the Sunda Islands get hidden when I hide this layer. Next up, we have the islands, which we were talking about. We have it divided into island fills, which is simply the coloring of the island, and island rings, which is the ring around it. You might not have this up for your islands, but if you do, you need this layer. The lakes object is just specific for this variant, we can ignore it. Region borders, this holds all the white lines. Border glow, doesn't matter, it was part of earlier design for the map. Supply centers, this holds every single supply center object, both neutrals and this player owned. We have region names, that's just the text. The bot doesn't care about that either. Then we have coasts. So basically the region names and coast objects are separated. The purpose of this is the GUI that we've been developing, which makes it so you can input moves by clicking on the map. But we're probably not gonna have time to integrate that because I don't know how it works. But do the separation in case that ever gets easiest to set up. Next up, we have the units layer, which should hold all your starting units. After that, we have 4 layers: army locations, army retreat locations, fleet locations, and fleet retreat locations. We also have a unit and orders output layers. We have a layer for the sidebar, which I believe is just everything static on the side. Yes. We have a layer for season title. This will allow the map to automatically update what season it is in. And we have the power banners layer. We will probably not take a look at these currently, because they require some a bit more complicated code to make work. And I'm not that much of a coder. Once you've set up this layer structure and correctly sorted all your objects into the correct layer, for this map I've already done it, but one very easy way to do it is to hide everything. Everything. And then you show one layer at a time. For example, the units layer. You then have a quick check. Okay, is this just units? I don't see anything except the unit. Okay, that one's done then. We then click coasts. Do I see anything else than coast markers? No, we seem to be good on this. Okay. We do it for region names. Okay, I see a lot of region names, nothing else. And you're gonna do this for every layer, just making sure that only the objects that should be there is there. Let's show it all again. Not the references. Okay, so once we've done this, what is the next step? Well, we will need to start setting up this for the bot, of course. So I will start with the easy stuff and we'll move on towards the more annoying stuff. So let's take a look at the region fills. So in the region fills layer, you will have one object per tile, land tile. Yep. Each of these, of course, okay, every single one is an object and it has a name. This one is just path 1203. What we will do to every object, every single object in this layer, is that we will rename it to the tile it is named on. It's placed in. So, for example, that was Auckland. This is Y. Oh my god. I'm not made for this. Oh my god, I should. Spelling. Am I right? Okay, so basically, you will go through every single object on this map and you will make sure that it has a name that matches tile name, basically. So that's the first step. After you've done the region fills, you will move on to the supply centers. And you guess what? You will do the same thing here. For example, the supply center is in Vladivostok. That means you will name it Vladivostok. You will name this to Jealous. And so on. Okay? You will do this for every supply center. After that, we will move on to the starting units. And you guessed it. We find the unit. It's over in San Francisco. So we will name this group San Francisco. Oh, that's not San Francisco. We'll move on to the next one. What could it be? It is Washington, D.C. So we will name it Washington, D.C. If you find a unit in the layer structure that you can't just find on a glimpse, I'd like to remind you all that there's rulers on the sides and you can see where the object is on the ruler, which makes sense. It should be somewhere around here. Yeah, it's Maduri. Awesome. So this is a quick method to just quickly locate the unit you're searching for. So after you've done this, I just recommend double checking that you have actually done everything. And the easy way to do that really is to search through the layers, just scroll through, see do you have anything that seems to not be named after the tile. If so, go in, check in what tile it's supposed to be, and name it. So after this, what happens? We will move on to the island tiles. This means both the island ring and island fills layer. So let's set up Palik here as an example. So you will go through the same process pretty much. You will name the ring of Palik into Palik, and you will take the fill of Palik and name it Palik. At least there aren't that many islands on most tiles, so this should be a much quicker process. And you will do that with every single tile until you are done. So for example, this would be the Falklands, and that would be Funchal, and so on. Okay. So the next step is creating a agency for seas and islands. So basically what the bot does to recognize agency is that it looks at each tile, for example sea tongue here, and it looks at the nodes and it searches for nodes in adjacent territories. For example, Nalgu and the Sea Chang have nodes close to each other, which means they will be adjacent. But we have a problem. The sea tiles don't have an object like that. We will therefore need to create them. So we will go down and we will turn off the background for easy filling. We will turn off the text. And it's time to create some sea tiles. Let's scroll down, select the sea agency layer, and we will start to fill. I'll just create a few so we have something to work with. These are the same tile. So you might encounter a very interesting conundrum here. Oh, okay. Ignore that. That didn't happen. So this map has wrapping, which is very interesting for the bot, because we want each of these objects to represent a tile, right? So what do we do when a tile shows up on both sides? Well, we need to make the two fills the same object. So we will go over to the other side, make ourselves ready to fill, and we will select the object that we want to have on both sides, and we will hold shift while we fill. Come on, don't betray me. Okay. And this will leave us with an object that is on both sides on the map. After you've filled all regions in this manner, we'll just turn on the names again for easy access, and we will go through, and you guessed it, name each object. So for example, then this would be Cooper Ridge, this would be Solomon Sea, not all of them. This would be Cook Strait, and so on. Alright, so we also need to do the same thing for islands. I recommend just turning off units and island rings for this to make them not screw up anything. Let's turn off the text as well. And actually it's Splice Interest. Okay, so we select the island agency layer and we start filling. I recommend just doing another color so it's clear. And we will fill each island in this way. After we've done that, you guessed it, we're gonna go in and we're gonna name these objects. So for example, this would be Timor. That would be Palikir. And so on. So let's just turn everything back on again. Not the border glow. I'll just hide this. Even though, honestly, look at that. That's really nice looking. I might have to do that sometime. Oh well. Okay. Alright, so we only have one final step, but it's probably the most time consuming of them all. What we will need to do is to set up standard locations for every unit. Let's say we have a unit that moves from Narvik to Norland. How do we handle this? How does the bot know where to place the unit? Because currently it doesn't, which is very unfortunate. I wish it could. Well, what we will need to do is that we need to set up a standard location for each tile. And we will do this via the army retreat, fleet retreat location layers. The units layer that we have currently is just to define what units are on the board at the start of the game, but it doesn't actually determine the location of them. So technically, we could just have like all the starting units over in a little clump over here, as long as they have this correct name, and we will, and it was still later generated correctly, which is really funny. But how do we do this? Okay, so the way I usually do this is that I clone starting unit. I often clone all starting units, but I'm just gonna do a few for this example. And I will drag them into the army locations layer, because we want the starting location and the standard location to be the same. After that, I will take the name of these and make them correspond with the tile they're in. If you've already named all the starting units, these names should of course already be set up already, which is great. After that, we will need to put one in each tile. So we will duplicate Oslo, we will put one in Agder, we'll duplicate Agder and put one in Trondheim, we will place one in Troms, we will place one in Finnmark, and so on. We would do this in every tile where an army can stand. Okay? After that, we'll go in and we will rename them. Oh, that was not. So, for example, this would be Finnmark. This would be Troms. This would be Trondheim. This would be Agder. And so on. So, that's the armies. Great. We will need fleets as well. So for this, I'll just duplicate Trondheim. I'll drag it up to the fleet locations. I will make sure it has the correct name, Trondheim. And then I will place a fleet in every tile. I recommend just placing them on top of, I recommend just placing them on top of the army for easy placement. Oh my god. We will handle retreats very soon. I'm just gonna place a couple units, huh? So one in Trons, one in Narvik, and one in Finnmark. And name accordingly. Sometime in the future, we might have a easier method to make it all bot ready. But so far it's a bit of a time-consuming process. So once we've placed standard armies and fleets in all boards on all locations on the board, it's time to set up the retreat units. The easiest way to do this, in my opinion, is to select all the contents in the army locations layer. So we just click one and Control A. Then we duplicate. And we drag it over to the army retreats. But we wouldn't want standard armies and retreat armies to be in the same spot. So we will grab it. We'll drag it over to another location. This is where our retreat units will show up. So I'm just gonna move these out of the way real quick. Like this. Wonderful. Now we have army retreats set up. Now we need to do the same thing for fleets. So we select everything in the fleet layer, we duplicate, we drag over the fleet retreats, and we will drag every single fleet to a retreat location. As said, I recommend stacking it with the retreat army and the retreat fleet, just to make sure that rendering always looks correct. Okay, so you will do this to every tile, of course. You will only place armies in inland tiles. In seas, you will place only fleets, and on coastal tiles, you will place both. How do we handle tiles like central Finland? That's a great question. So I will take a standard army here. I prefer to just keep them colored appropriately. I will take a standard fleet. And I'll place one on the west coast. And I will place one on the east coast. And then I will name the objects. This is just Central Finland, of course. Well, this one is Central Finland VC. Well, this one would be EC. Finland. Oh my god. Alright. And then, you might have guessed it, we need to set up retreat locations. So we duplicate these, drag them over. Oh my god. We duplicate this, and we place it around here or something. And that's how we set up dual coast provinces. And I think that's it for the SVG setup process for now. It will take you a little bit of time, but you'll be just fine. It will be worth it. Just some finishing comments. The next part I will show you how to create your own instance of the diplomacy bot and how to upload your map to it. And then we will go through debug to make sure that the bot handles it correctly and blah 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 blah. A bunch of steps. So I'm still working on the next video for the Japan variant, and hopefully I'll get it out quite soon. I've gotten distracted by a lot of other fun projects and of course World of Chaos. Alright, my friends, I will see you later, and thanks for tuning in.